Oh, good morning here from Minnesota. Wet and rainy this morning, and we need the rain. So anyway, this is going to be a fast video because I'm just going to finish up what I was talking about on the two pieces that we've got going right now. And this thing, there's the mold, and there's the disc. If you followed the video before, the disc was going to set on top of the mold. We call that a blank, and it was in the kiln right there. And I heated it to 1230 degrees over a period of, 19, 20 hours. I ramped it up slow to start with, 250 degrees an hour. I went to 1,000 degrees on it and let it set for half hour. And then I went on to the slumping temperature, which is the temperature at which this glass begins to get soft and slumps into the mold. And the slumping temperature on this particular glass is 1230 degrees. So we got it to that temperature, and I let it set, I think, for about 45 minutes or an hour. And I've got a little microprocessor on the, here we go, microprocessor on the side of the, or side of my kiln here. Let's put this, sometimes it'll give us the actual temperature here. 72. So it's showing us 72, and there's a little probe right there that gives the temperature. And up in the top of the kiln is all the heating, the wires. And this kiln is a 5,800 watt kiln, which means it'll use a lot of electricity if you really crank it up. And this is papyrus paper. I always mispronounce that. Anyway, and this paper keeps, it's not actually paper, it's ceramic fiber. Now it'll just be a powder. Look at this. See there, it turns into a powder after it's been fired. Now I can still put smaller pieces of glass right here and use it again and again. There's where the original disc, this bowl we have, it's set to get flat, and it picked up the papyrus paper or the ceramic fiber paper off the bottom of the kiln shelf. It doesn't make any difference. It just wipes right off the back of it. And I'll show you the back of the bowl here in just a minute. Anyway, that's how that's done. This is a very old kiln, looking kind of rough on the inside. I've repaired it 2 or 3 times, put a new roof in it. This kiln is 33 years old, so it's been around a long time. I've rebuilt it 2 or 3 different times. It's still good. These things are real expensive, and so to replace this kiln, by the time I get it here, buying it wholesale, and they're a little different right now. Normally the glass kilns from a long time ago, which is what this is, had all the heating elements in the top, and because we're trying to heat the glass from down here. Today the kilns also have heating elements in the side. You can still get the top fired ones if you're, into that. But I think this kiln right here, this is Paragon, real old Paragon, and they're made down in Mesquite, Texas. Anyway, I think this kiln with the shipping on it would be well beyond 3,000. Probably, I'm going to guess I'd probably have about $4 grand in this thing by the time I got it here. It's very heavy, probably weighs about 400 pounds. And so, anyway, I don't want to buy a new one unless I have to. And then this little microprocessor on here, maybe, I don't know why anybody, well, some people care about this stuff. I just go off on this stuff because it's all I think about. So if we were going to put a piece of glass in here, I press the stop button. You go enter, enter. And I just took off and ran the last program I have, and you'll hear it click on in a minute. The last program I had in it was the 1230 degree program. There it goes. Can you hear that? Okay, it's 71 degrees in there now. It's going to, I believe I asked it to, we're going to stop it, but I believe I asked it to go up 250 degrees per hour. So in an hour from now, this thing would be 320 degrees. And then an hour from that, it's going to be 250 plus 320. What's that? 570. Anyway, it just keeps going up. So you can control how fast you want the heat to come up. Some glasses and some paints, you can get away with going up real fast. Some you need to go real slow. When you get to the working temperature, what you're going to do with something like this, 1230, I'd gone slow to get to 1230, so the glass had warmed up over many, many hours. And so I didn't need to stay at the slumping temperature of 1230 for very long. And I think I stayed there for 45 minutes or an hour. And what that did, that made sure that this bowl conformed to the shape of this mold. So we'll lift this off the mold here, and I'll show you. I'm doing everything one-handed here. Here we go. Now, those that were paying attention to I'll show you the bowl in a second. Those that were paying attention to video yesterday about this process, remember that this was pink. And after this kiln release or kiln wash has, because we don't want the glass to stick to the mold, after that wash has been fired, it'll turn back white. Now, as long as I don't disturb that in there or peel at it, I could put another bowl on here, one right after another, and use this indefinitely. And remember I talked about the holes. Well, the holes are in the bottom to let the air out as that glass slumps into this kiln. When the glass gets to an area right in here, it will trap the air underneath it. So this air's got to have a place to evacuate. And when you're, I'm just going to tell all of this stuff. There might be 2 or 3 people get something out of this. But the kiln wash on the mold, if you get it on there a little too thick, you need to come back and push those holes out, because if not, you'll trap that air under here. And I've learned the hard way. I've had some gorgeous pieces of work. Open the kiln up, and there's a bubble right in the top of the whatever you're working with. That can even happen on something flat here. If there's any contamination underneath something flat that you're firing, you can open this thing up. And I've lost some really good pieces because maybe a tiny little piece of sawdust or something organic was underneath the glass as it heated up. And then that, of course, caught on fire with this amount of heat in here and a little bit of air under there, and it made a bubble. At least that's what I think happened. But that doesn't happen to me much anymore. When I first started trying to learn how to do this, I had every kind of problem you could imagine. So anyway, what's this bowl look like? Well, here we go. Oh, and they're nice and heavy, see, because it's 2 pieces of glass. 2 pieces of glass melted together. And I don't know whether we can get up close here and see this. The top layer was clear, so you can just barely see that clear glass. And then there's the piece that I painted. And isn't that pretty? Wow, this is such a beautiful bowl. I love this thing. Look at that. I'm proud of this stuff because it's no accident that this comes out and looks this good, because there's a lot of experience that went into getting there. And I had to get it painted right. Then I had to get it fired right, not to wipe out or destroy this paint, because this paint doesn't work real good at these super high temperatures that it takes to get these pieces fused together. So this is 2 pieces of glass that are now one. And let's look at the back side of this thing. There's the back side. And what I'll do here in a minute, I don't think I can do it one-handed, but I'll scratch my name into the back of that with, oh, here we go. Hey, lucky me. There it is where I can get to it. Okay, there's my diamond scribe right there. Geez, I don't know. I'm afraid to take a chance to do this with one hand. No, I don't want to do it. If I ruin this, that's not going to be fun. So anyway, I'll scratch my name in the back of it with this diamond scribe, and that'll be permanent, and I'll put the year on it. It'll be, I always put a hyphen, 22 hyphen on the year. And everything I've ever done, boy, there couldn't be 3 or 4 exceptions to that. Everything I've ever done, I've always scribed my name exactly the same way. And I have kind of a unique signature. Oh, look at that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But my signature in the bottom of all this stuff, can you see me doing this? Yeah. And then we'd put 22. So that'll be scratched in the bottom. And that's scratched in the somewhere on everything I've ever done. Lamps, windows, little pieces. Geez, I may even have, yeah. There's my horse. I need to get this horse eye, put the glass around it. I haven't done that yet. And then my dragonfly from, I don't know, what was this, about 3 or 4 or 5 weeks old, something like that. I did that, and let's see. See if you can get down there and look at that. Oh, there it is. I got it close for you. There's my signature in the bottom of that, just scratched in the bottom. There's my little dragonfly. I like that thing. That's pretty cool. I've got those little paint dots setting up where you can actually feed them. So anyway, that's the little dragonfly just sitting there. All right. So now the next thing, we've talked about the bowl, got it out of the way. And the next thing is this piece. And this one is sold. So I'm working on trying to figure out what I want to do with the colors. And this is the way I do these. I square this piece up so I've ground it along the edges and got it good, nice and square. And then I'm going to have a, you can see, usually I never talk about this part, but I'm decided this 15 millimeter border, and I believe this is 30. No, not 30. Maybe it's 40. What is it? 30 and 15. Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's 30 millimeters. That's 15. And I'm going to go around this thing with something new. I'm using copper, real copper, half-inch copper U-channel around this. Normally, they had, same as this one. Normally, or for many, many years, this is the first time I ever used copper. That's a U-channel zinc. It's a half-inch in diameter, and it goes around all these pieces that I make, even big ones. If I'm doing a piece that's 5 or 6 feet tall, it'll have that same rigid, real strong border. That zinc on a piece like this looks real good, and in fact, you can see there that it gives it a nice finish look. So this time we're going to, and I spoke of this in the last video, this time I'm going to use half-inch copper around the outside of this thing. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to patina that a real antique verdigris green. So that should look real good. So this little piece, I don't know. In fact, I was going to start on that this morning. I don't know what colors that I'm going to use on this thing. I just don't have that figured out yet. So I've got a couple of things in mind to do with it, but I think I'm going to work some greens into it. I think that'll look good simply because it's Celtic. Boy, that Celtic knotwork right there is pretty cool. I like this part here. Look at the little dragonfly. Boy, and man, that's some tiny little lines there where the wings are. And then on down the feathers. I like this thing. It kind of has a Native American sun catcher look to it. And then here's the Celtic knot here, and then more Celtic knot here. So I like this little design quite a bit. All right, anyway, and then I'm going to do some cool thing in the corners here to kind of frame this piece up real good. So this should look pretty good. It'll take me 2 or 3 days to get this worked out and figure out what I want to do with it. And then after that, I'll go back after this. I don't know why I didn't do this one already. I think I got tied up on some other job. That's my horse eye. And see now, move that over. Now the horse eye, I'll build a network of colored glass around that horse eye. And of course, it'll be totally different. And I have an idea what I'm going to do with that. I've got some real cool browns and creams with some textured glass that should look good with this. And I think maybe a little bit of black glass would look good with this. So anyway, that's the horse eye. And I'm trying to get all this stuff done because these smaller pieces, we're headed, what is this, October? No, September. About this time of year, if I'm not on some big job, then I take off on all this smaller stuff because what happens is I get about the 3rd week of November and then people start saying, oh man, do you have anything that for Christmas? And generally I don't. Usually I'm tied up in larger projects. And so this year, I've started working here about 2 or 3 weeks ago to try to get some of these smaller pieces, like the dragonfly. And see, I don't solicit this stuff. I don't get on Facebook or anywhere else and say, hey, will you buy this or buy this? I just make the stuff. And then if somebody likes it, they like it. If they don't like it, that's cool too. I'll just leave it sitting around. Well, I got a couple of pieces sitting up here. But it doesn't really make any difference. I just want people to have the stuff that want it, and those that are not interested in it, I'm happy with that too. Doesn't matter. I like it. So anyway, that's where we are. So we talked about the bow. We talked about that little thing. And when I do the horse, see, I'll draw another whole drawing around it to come up with it's going to be a larger piece, to come up with whatever color combination and glass border work that works with that for me. I don't have that totally figured out. Don't have this one. By the end of today, I'll have this already started and figure out what I'm going to do with it. This has got a lot of potential to look really, really good. And in particular, particularly with the copper half-inch border around it. So anyway, we're just having fun. This is a lot of fun, and when you can do this stuff, like the lamps, and in fact, I've got a series of videos. There's what is it called? There's a Facebook page called Yakagani Glass Crafters or something like that, and they requested, or one of the people on there requested to see the wisteria lamp videos. So I'm putting a video on there every day. Today was the 6th day of how I built that wisteria lamp. So this is a lot of fun because when you can paint and you can make bowls, I make square bowls, round bowls. I mean, I think these round bowls are stunning. Anyway, and then I can put any kind of, I could put a turkey in there, I put a elephant, a frog, whatever. Anyway, I can put all kinds of things, paint all kinds of things in these bowls. And there's another one just like this. That's my friend Christine Liddon in the UK, in London, has one like this. And I think she might have gotten this bowl maybe a little over a year ago. So anyway, this will be the second one of those I've ever done. So anyway, when you can do these bowls and make all these different color combinations and do all these different paintings on them, and then you can come back around and do these flat pieces, little small pieces, and come up with all these color combinations for them. Then shift on to a good sized stained glass window, leaded glass. This is going to be copper foil, leaded glass, and then you can do the lamps. Man, that's a real gift because I don't have to just concentrate on doing just one thing. I like to do a lot of different things and try to come up with some new stuff. That's why after all these years of using the 1/2-inch zinc on the outside, I have moved to I should get that out, but I'll get it. When I put this thing together, I'll show you what this copper looks like. And I'm shifting to the copper because that's going to up the game on this and make these even more stunning. So I'll probably shift to permanent copper on the bulk of these smaller pieces because it just looks better. And it's, something different. And I'm all over Facebook looking at other artists and stuff, and there's some fantastic artists on Facebook, but I still don't see anybody doing these little pieces like this with this style of work or type of work or this kind of stuff. And I'm not smart enough to be the only person there is to do this. Maybe I've carved out some little spot that other people have not gotten into or don't want to get into it. Boy, that's got some depth to it. That clear glass with the painting on it fused to the colored glass underneath it gives that a real, I don't doubt you can see it, but there's some real depth to that. And man, I love this thing. Wow. I better not show that to my wife. She's got half a dozen of these. But I mentioned to her that I was doing something with wheat. I said, no. We don't have room for any more. So anyway, that's all I have. I appreciate the interest in this stuff. Please ask questions if you have any questions about this. We'll come back and revisit this if there are questions about it. This thing here, I'll be back in a few days with the end of this, what it looks like. And I'm expecting this to look really good because I'm going to put a lot of time and effort into trying to figure out the best combination of colors and textured glass that'll go around this to make this thing really outstanding. Anyway, man, I just love that little signature. That is nice. That's the same way I signed these things in 1976. And I'm fortunate to have lived long enough to still be doing this. I appreciate it. Well, anyway, thank you all. I appreciate it. Bye now.